Limitless true damage. The bulk keeps getting bigger, so we need bigger and bigger nukes to take care of them. There's a lot of interactions here that I want to talk about, but first I want to look at the unit herself. This is Hræsvelgr, and we've all been waiting for her. This is a really neat unit. So first off, we have the Neopet sprite, which is coming up. I really like the art. I like the character a lot. I thought they did a good job with this one, which is saying something. But first, Quieting Claw. We have Slaying. We have Speed Defense -7, Exposure, and we have a Nullification of Non-Special Miracle, which is a big deal sometimes, and sometimes it's not. It is definitely nice to have, and I'm curious if that means there are more Hell-like units that are coming. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants Omni +5 to unit, inflicts attack, speed, defense, -X on foe. X equals number of foes within 2 spaces of target. It goes on and on. Max of 10. Most of the time, this is going to be 10. Deals Y damage, and this is the thing you should pay attention to. This equals the total number of bonuses and penalties active on foe, and any foe within 2 spaces of foe, excluding stat bonuses and stat penalties ×3. And you notice there's no cap on that. I am curious how they count that. So we're going to find out a little more about what's going on there. That has the potential to be really nasty, especially against anyone who loves Brave Crom. But anyway, reduces damage from attacks by 40% and reduces the percentage of foes non-special reduced damage skills by 50%. So it's the whole 50% piercing thing. Past that, we've got the standard Beast Flyer Transform, which is nice. It's an extra movement slot and attack +2. Nimble Beast, this is the next in the Nimble form, and this one is based on speed, which is really nice. I mean, this is great to have Beast specials. We've needed them. There's nothing too much to write home about other than we like this. Moving on, though, we have Attack Speed Fortune. If unit can transform, transformation effects gain if unit is within 2 spaces of a beast or dragon ally, or if number of adjacent allies other than beast or dragon allies is less than or equal to 2 as a trigger condition in addition to existing conditions. So it is easier to transform, which is a big deal. And if you're in Aether Raids, you transform immediately, which is a really big deal. If unit is transformed or if foe initiates combat, grants attack speed +8 to unit and neutralizes foe's bonuses to speed defense during combat and restores 7 HP to unit after combat. If you like speedy beasts, particularly on defense, this is a huge deal for you. I think we're more waiting for the ones down the road that aren't speed-based. Most of the units that I think really want this on defense don't particularly like attack and speed. It's hard to have a speedy defensive unit because stats favor the offense so much. We have SD Near Trace 4. You're not going to use this skill. I'll tell you why in a second. Then we have Divine Talent, and I think you kind of have to look at this through the overall picture. Let's go over just what it says here, though, and this is penalty neutralization, but it's only that phase. So it's the start of turn. It's not the dual phase neutralization that we've grown to love with Freyr and Micaiah. You also deal 1 damage to unit and allies within 2 spaces. At start of turn, grants unit can move 1 extra space to dragon, beast, infantry, and armored allies within 2 spaces of unit. That is huge, and I think you're going to love that more in Summoner Duels than you are in Aether Raid's offense. But that's not to say it's not good. Extra movement is always a good thing, especially on armored units. The added mobility is such a big deal, and this unit can give that to you. If unit is transformed or a foe's HP is greater than 75% at start of combat, you get an Omni +5 to unit, neutralizes, so then you get the full no follow-up effect, the offensive tempo, and reduces damage from foe's attack by X during combat, and X equals number of spaces from start position to end position of whoever initiated combat ×4, max of 12. A 12-point flat DR is really nice. And also when foe attack triggers foe special, reduces damage by X, excluding area of effect specials. So you get an additional flat DR, but this one doesn't have a limit to it. You can see kind of a theme with this unit. So what is this unit? Because these are amazing effects, and this is a great thing. The thing you want to look at in the context of the game, the thing that's going around is just the massive amount of bulk you're seeing. What you're mainly worried about is shield fighter, and that is, regardless of your mode, that is the thing that is coming after you. This unit has a ton of true damage that will not get through shield fighter and Pavis. It just won't. Unless you have potent 4 on this unit. Keep in mind that third hit is not damage reduced. And that is something to pay very, very close attention to, and makes this unit incredibly interesting, especially going up against teams that have a ton of bonuses on them. This unit can do a ton of damage that way. Where is this unit best used? In Aether Raids right now. The thing we're struggling with is, if you're on offense, and I just made an entire video about this, you can have a whole bunch of bulk, but a lot of times it leaves the enemy team around, and you need someone to help you clean that mess up. Especially if you've gone with shield fighter, that means you don't have a lot of killing power and you leave almost every unit on the board. This is the unit that can help you fix that. This is why Ecthenir is so good right now. Whereas when we looked at him when we first came out, he was okay. The ability to go and actually beat things up on turn 2 is huge. The fact that this unit can do it and have extra movement and give that to other units as well, and there's a lot of things to like about this unit in the current meta. Having that on a mythic is huge, because most of the time if you're running double saves, you don't have that extra space. Even if you're running an Omni tank, most of the time that extra space is taken up by a bonus unit and whatever support you need to survive. Having a mythic that can actually kill things is huge, and this one does it really, really well. So where does she rank in the current light mythics? And right now, I have her at the top of tier 1, and we could see her rise a little bit depending on how much she helps player phase teams. All of the stuff in her weapon really helps you more on your phase and not on the enemy phase. It's kind of the way she's constructed. So if she can help a Gale Force team, suddenly this is a pretty powerful weapon. If you need this unit to go in and actually be the armor breaker, and she works that way, that is a big, big deal. There are a lot of questions though, and in order to do that, you need to really, really hit hard. Right now, I'm assuming that she doesn't. If she can break shield fighter near saves on a defense effectively, and keep in mind there are a lot of ifs there. There's a lot of strategy ifs too, like getting her through traps and all of that great stuff. So we have to see what folks come up with, and we have to get her into testing to really dig through what she's doing. But even just as a cleanup unit, I think cleanup units right now have risen so much in value, and top of tier 1 I think is where she's sitting. I like her just as much as Asker, and I even have Uller up here for the exact same reason. You have to have units that can help you clean up right now. In tier 2, I have the supports that don't do much else, and that's, I mean, both of these guys, Milla and Gato are both very usable. So I like most of the units in light season. So I like all of those. Tier 3, Dogger is one of my favorite units. I use her constantly. Ashe is in that same boat, as well as Nerthus. Tier 4 are the harder units to use. I have seen a lot of really interesting builds on air. I honestly, if I had a tier 5, Freya would probably be down there. She's not she's really difficult to use right now, guys. Just to be completely honest. So this is where Light Season is stacking up. If we're looking at melee nukes, and this is pure nuking power, I really think you just don't get better than Sigurd right now. I know a lot of folks, especially you SD folks, are going to disagree with me. But the fact is, AoEs have some hard counters, but I don't think Felix has increased in value any, and I think bulk has gone up. And so I think both of these units are struggling versus either Shield Fighter or something. Again, I did a whole episode on this. They both have their definite counters. For raw killing power, I like Sigurd best. Next tier, though, that's where I have Echthenir and Hraesvelgr, and both of these guys are very, very good at that. I have seen Echthenir do some absolutely crazy things. I am guessing here that Hraesvelgr is going to do better, but that really depends on what teams she's going up against. The thing is, Hraesvelgr is more reliant on what the enemy team has in terms of bonuses and penalties, whereas you have Echthenir, who's more reliant on your team and being close to his allies and all of that great stuff. So they both have their weaknesses. They're both excellent at what they do. And listen, I still think Shirena hits hard, but right now we have jumped up at the level of hard-hittedness that we're getting right now. So I have both Asker and Shirena down in that next tier, and we go down from there. Melee nukes are interesting, and right now we have the top two, and well, really the tier 1 is still very, very high up there. And past tier 2, though, we really start dropping off dramatically. Let me know in the comments, who are you summoning for? I've got an entire video on melee nukes. Go check that out. Members, you are incredible. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.